weathergang.com. We have a very warm start to the week. Early week looks pretty sunny, pretty warm. Before rain chances increase for the middle part of this week, we'll go into the front that's kind of sneaking and moving and dancing around our region for much of this week, giving us some of these peppered rain chances throughout the week. But I do think we're more often than not fairly dry, especially early in the week, and fairly sunny and bright in the early part of the week as well. As temperatures ease, as the rain chances go up middle and late part of this week, we could even have a cloudier, cooler weekend as well. So we'll talk about that and make sure that you're prepared for tomorrow's warmth. That's way above average and pretty warm for this time of year. And I heard some of you, and including out near Dulles, I think it was 84 degrees at Dulles, 81 at DCA today. We are really feeling above average, even for April. So I hope you are warm weather lovers are really loving it. And the animation of the temperatures below, you'll see them kind of cooling off toward the end of the week and into the weekend. Good evening, David and Rachel and Peter. Thanks for tuning in from Facebook. Nastel, Ari, JB, Afra, and Aji and Kelly. Thanks for tuning in. And then Bowers, my point of interest. Mary also joined from Instagram. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. I can get your comments from all four of those platforms. Please follow us on all four of our social media channels. For CapitalWeatherGang.com, I'm Cameron Walker. This is your weekly Sunday Sunset Chat Q&A. Let me know if you have any questions. Rachel was 83 degrees in Reston. Thanks for that report. Scott, evening from YouTube. I'm glad you're enjoying the warm weather, and Tyler is loving. That's very nice of you. I'm glad you're tuning in and appreciate the kind words. And Mike, excellent day in the valley today. Hope your wind calmed down a little bit, Mike. I saw you were reporting some wind recently. AS and M Stein and Vicness and Sweet and Ghosh and JB. Thanks for tuning in from Instagram. All right. Let's go forward with what else we can expect this week. Maybe a little bit on the dew point scale, 50s, maybe even 60s for dew points. We're going to feel it at times. We're not used to it going into the warm season in summer. 50s and 60s will feel great in August and September, right? But this time of year, it is going to be a little bit of a surprise. Tomorrow, a little bit, maybe more so as the rain chances increase, just a hair more in the middle part of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, we could see some dew points around 60, maybe a little higher as well. Oh, JMP, thanks for tuning in from Instagram and your kind words. That's very kind of you. Rick, I don't think spring is over just yet. That's a great question. I'll show you in a moment how temperatures could cool next week. And Tyler, I don't see, we'll talk about severe weather potential. I think we're going to get away without having right in the DC area some severe weather this week, but thunderstorms can't be ruled out. And all right, I think I've caught up so far. And here we are. Next up is the wind, because we've been kind of having some pestering, pesky, persistent winds in recent days, right? So tomorrow, I'm giving you some encouraging information. Hopefully, 1, 2 gusts in the 20, max 30 mile per hour range, but I think 20, 25 miles per hour is more like it for 1, 2, a couple gusts tomorrow. So we're getting there. We're reducing some of these winds, but it has been very breezy, if not windy, this weekend. Just I think like last weekend as well. It seems to be a theme right now. All right, we've now got precipitation animation on the top, cloud animation for the week below. Just want to give you the sense how rain chances, despite peppering much of the forecast, and I think Tuesday might be our driest rain-free potential day. Clouds are around more often than not. I think Monday, Tuesday are pretty bright, pretty sunny. Obviously, it's warm. Sunshine is going to contribute to our very warm start to our work week. Indeed, I think Gara on Instagram, it is open your window season if you can, and you don't mind the pollen too much, which we'll talk about pollen levels in just a moment as well. All right, we've got Maria on Facebook and Rachel. I'm glad you're not seeing too much rain right now, Rachel. All right. And Jason and Yolima and Perfect and it's MZ and Chris and Katie. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram. No More Rain and Wind has been ordered by Julia on YouTube. I'll see what I can do. Indeed, I want you to see, though, there are, limited quick hitting showers and storms this week if we do see any. And around the DC area, I'm going to show you rain amounts are pretty low this week. Pollen is indeed killing us, Chris. I agree with you as a fellow allergy sufferer. And let's get into more on the precipitation side of things. The look at this northwest preferred or southeast preferred areas for the two rain areas. There's a little bit of a DC split, a little bit of a sneaky cold front coming through overnight. That is, should it have come through during the day, we probably would have seen more of a percolating, bubbling atmosphere to produce more thunderstorms. But because it's doing a very stealthy nighttime passage tonight, mainly focus the severe weather and heavier storms up in Pennsylvania right now. And it might sneak with maybe kind of southeastern Virginia, could see some storms tomorrow. So let's show you that front moving through tonight through Tuesday above. It's going to kind of swing through, do a little bit of a kind of southwestern sag toward the Appalachian Mountains. The severe weather potential luckily skips over the Beltway, might slip kind of south of Spotsylvania, more toward Richmond. Not a huge chance for severe weather, but it is very interesting. It's kind of perfect timing for the DC kind of metroplex around the Beltway to avoid severe weather chances just on the timing basis of this cold front coming through overnight tonight from north to south, sagging kind of towards southeastern Virginia and then towards southwestern Virginia by Tuesday evening up there, right there. All right, I'm Cameron Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Make sure you follow us 24/7 on the blog there. Right now, I'm live for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Carol, thanks for tuning in from Instagram. Myrtle Beach. It's going to be a little bit warm, a little bit humid, and I think some thunderstorms are possible. And Hugh, thanks for tuning in. And Marie and Kat and KD, thanks for tuning in as well. I think I've caught up on all the questions on Instagram. And Marcia is saying hello on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. Very much good to see you. Good to see you. All right, let's look ahead a little bit, right? I think we're thinking maybe warm weather lovers, you're enjoying this week, but I'm looking ahead. Maybe there's even a slight frost or freeze potential for later next week, as there is a kind of downswing of potential for the probability, leaning probably for some below average temperatures. I am not clear at all right now on that. The atmosphere next week, Monday through Sunday, there's a slight chance it might lean below average for temperatures. But here's what's interesting with our benchmark this time of year. By this upcoming weekend, our average high temperature at DCA Airport is now 70 degrees. So when you see some blue shading on the map here above, it is, yes, maybe leaning below average for next work week, but not all that chilly when you think of it in relative terms for this time of year. Our averages are getting warmer and warmer. So below average means not as much cold anymore. So, precipitation here on the bottom for next work week, leaning below average for precipitation. We're maybe getting into a slightly dry pattern, but don't, before you even ask, we're fine in droughts and rainfall surpluses. Right now, the water table is doing just fine. Fellow allergy sufferers, yes, things are growing, especially in the tree category. We are feeling it. Gardeners, yes, growing season is here, but just in the brighter yellows and greens, be cautious, especially with the map I showed you a second ago, where we could see a swing toward below average temperatures next week. That kind of increases the chance for patchy frost or a brief freeze. So make sure those sensitive plants are in pots that you can bring inside, kind of portable still for this time of year, especially along and higher and west of the I-81 corridor. Now, I think we have sometimes curious people thinking about thinking ahead toward kind of May, early June, when the next broods for the two cicada broods are going to come out. We still have time to watch it, but let me know if any of you are hearing as we get into this warmer weather, the soils are warming. We could start seeing a couple cicadas here and there, especially closer to the Chesapeake Bay and the Tidewater region as we get closer toward May. All right, my PM update there above, and then the forecast at a glance just above here, above my hat. I'm Cameron Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. That's our blog anytime you need us. We're doing our Sunday Sunset live Q&A every week. 20-minute chat. Good to see you on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Temperature animation here below with a warm start to the week, well into the 80s. Mid 80s looks pretty darn likely for tomorrow. Cooling, less warm, I should say, for Tuesday. And anyway, those temperatures kind of slowly ease. It's warm, but less warm, less warm, less warm as we get toward Friday and the weekend. Rain chances are on the increase, and clouds are on the increase. So that's kind of the inverse relationship there as we go kind of into the middle part of the week. Rain chances increase, temperatures decrease. So warm weather lovers, please enjoy what we have while we have it for the early part of this week. Let's see, Alden, US, Eunice, Tamara, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. Good seeing you. Let me make sure I have not missed any comments or questions on Instagram. Excellent. Scott, I think the best chance for rain might be Wednesday, Thursday, and then again later this weekend, maybe Saturday, late Saturday into early Sunday, perhaps. We'll go through that animation in just a moment. And Donna, let's see, you're doing great for now in Iowa. Please keep me posted. Good to see you. And then X, I've got W tuning in for the pollen. We're going to keep peaking, I think, through May. Hopefully, April will prove to be the peak of the pollen. W on X, good to see you. And Rachel, Reston is unlikely, less likely to have cicadas this year, generally toward the Chesapeake Bay and the Tidewater area. And we've got Paul. This upcoming weekend in 6, 7 days does look like it could be a little cloudy, a little cool, a little rainy. I don't think a washout, but it's worth watching if you have outdoor plans. We're going to need to start formulating a plan B soon if the rain signal remains there for another day or two. Maria, I think we have until kind of May. Typically, May is the month when the cicadas generally find warm enough soils to emerge. And then Rachel doesn't really like the cicadas, so you don't even need to worry about it too much. That's great. They're in, I think, Reston, you said. All right. Storm chances tonight are sticking north and northwest of town. Soda, thanks for tuning in for that great question on Instagram. So let's show everyone what we are looking at with the precipitation animation this week. The storms north of us kind of fizzle out overnight. A front kind of stealthily moves through overnight. Storms, while we could see one or two storms tonight, not expected to be strong or severe around the DC Beltway. Generally, south and east of town is where we think rains will focus again on tomorrow, and northwest of town over the next 7 days. We kind of have a dry spot potentially around DC, but we're fine in the droughts and rain surplus department. Let me show you this front, right? Tonight through Tuesday, these are the two animations I'm showing you. On the top, we have the cold front that's kind of moving from Pennsylvania tonight, southward overnight tonight, where if it was during the day, we probably have more storms around the DC area, but it sags toward the southeast, setting off maybe few strong storms in southeastern Virginia tomorrow. And things calm down for Tuesday as it kind of swings and stalls out southwestern Virginia into the Appalachian Mountains. And I've shown you here tonight, and then the severe storms maybe in southeastern Virginia tomorrow, and then just everyday storms around the region on Tuesday. So that's kind of the instigator driving our weather this week, but it's still warm, pretty sunny for Monday, Tuesday. Rain chances might not pick up again for at least DC until the middle part of this week when the front that kind of stalls briefly down towards southwestern Virginia, let's say Roanoke region, it tries to move back northward in the middle and end part of the week. We just can't really get rid of it. It wants to keep us company all of this week. So looking ahead, temperatures lean below average for next work week. Precipitation leans drier than average for next work week. Not a huge signal, not a very strong signal. And it's worth noting in the temperature realm that our averages this upcoming weekend are back for a high temperature at DCA airports, back averaging at 70 degrees. So when we think of below average temperatures this time of year, you don't need to think of sweater weather or bundling up terribly much. It's less chance of really chilly cold air now at this point into the spring. So that's something, if you're not a fan of cold weather, don't look at the blue here above, the blue shading, and immediately think, oh, geez, it's going to be cold and I need to find my sweaters or heavier coat. Pollen confirms in the tree department, it is growing season. So I know gardeners are happy, but gardeners, of course, I like to do my reminder, at least for a couple more weeks. In the brighter yellows and in the greens, there is still a chance for an outside chance for frost, patchy frost, a quick freeze, especially with temperatures taking maybe a slight below average slant next week. That raises the risk for, keeping those plants that are most sensitive. You want to keep them in a pot and move them indoors if you can. Should we see a higher likelihood, more specifics of a frost or a freeze next work week. And here's a sneak preview. We'll cover the emerging cicadas as we get closer to May when they typically emerge. But here's the typical geography for the two broods. And yes, two broods could simultaneously hatch, emerging from the soils this later into the spring this year. So if you're in the Tidewater, closer to the Chesapeake Bay, let me know if you start hearing them. in the next week or so. With some of this warm weather, the soils could start warming pretty darn quickly. I'm just curious if one or two might start venturing out in April before their typical peak in May. All right. Temperature animation below. My PM update is now live on capitalweathergang.com. That's at the top there, showing you how we have a dying breeze tonight, turning partly cloudy, a little bit tranquil. But man, it's going to be a warm start to the work week tomorrow. So just prepare. If you're a warm weather lover, rejoice. If you're not a fan of mid 80s in April, just prepare. It's going to be pretty darn warm tomorrow, with even maybe a tinge of humidity. Unfortunately, and you'll see the cooler colors and the temperature animation toward the middle and end part of the week as rain chances, cloud amounts also increase as well. Gina, JP, Nate, and Karen, thanks for tuning in from Instagram. Let me make sure I haven't missed anyone asking a question or comment there. And then Soda, I hope I answered your storm. There are isolated, pockets of storms that are possible tonight, but it looks like the strongest severe storm should stay up into Pennsylvania as it looks now, maybe along the Mason-Dixon line. Outside chance in northern Maryland, we could see one or two strong storms tonight, but luckily that front is sagging southward overnight tonight, and not during the day when we would see a higher chance for storms at this time. All right, let me take a quick sip of tea and see. Let's see, we've got Maria. All right, going to Houston this upcoming Sunday. I think it'll be a decent travel day. So David, don't worry too much about Sunday, even though we could see some clouds and some rain. I think it's going to be okay for flights as it looks now. All right. So cicadas, Rachel, should stay kind of southeast of DC. And I think tomatoes and peppers should indeed wait till May 10th or so, Brian. That's a good call. I love that advice. And let's see, we've got Susan. We're looking ahead to May. I don't think specifics are out just yet, but let's look ahead for you just a little bit, Susan. Get you a little closer to your goal there. And of course, as we get toward May, we do, of course, put out our monthly outlook. So getting into next work week, kind of Monday through Sunday as a whole, it's leaning toward below average temperatures, and precipitation is leaning a slight probability for below average precipitation as well. And that's okay. We don't have drought to speak of. We're doing fine in the rainfall surplus department. The water table is doing just fine. David, I've got chamomile tea as usual. I love that you're asking. That's funny. All right. Have I missed any questions or comments on Facebook, X, YouTube, or Instagram? Please repeat them. If I did, I apologize. But I think I've caught up on those platforms. Make sure you follow us on all four of our social media channels. Hey, Winston from Chevy Chase. Happy Sunday to you as well. Thanks for tuning in from Instagram. All right. I appreciate seeing so many of you tuning in for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Pollen Outlook, Laura, I'm happy to do that for you. It is high in the tree category. I'm certainly feeling it. I have used everything today, including tea, as David is seeing. My chamomile tea today is helping my throat just a little bit. But even though growing season, is very, very evident to us in the allergy department, I want to just make sure gardeners and Brian, as he knows, you want to wait for those sensitive plants to really permanently plant them in the soil closer to May 10th or so. And the brighter yellows and even the greens, we could see an outside chance of a late frost, quick freeze in some parts of our region. So wait until closer to May if you are in the brighter yellow or green areas to really permanently plant. But if you put them in a pot, you can bring them inside. No big deal. If we see a frost or freeze potential approaching, and then while I'm here next to the brood maps, you'll see as we get closer to May, we'll keep you posted on the two broods that could hatch. And the geography is generally here, but we'll give you more specifics as we get closer to May. And we're watching those two broods of cicadas that could hatch closer to the Chesapeake Bay in the Tidewater area. Christy, John, Manny, thanks for tuning in from Instagram. And we've got Paul, you're most welcome. And Steve, happy Sunday from Culpeper. Good seeing you as well. It is a warm start to the week. You look at this temperature animation below. I'm on the air another 30 seconds at least, but I want to show you temperatures kind of trend down after a very warm start to our work week. As the middle part and end of the week sees rain chances go up, temperatures kind of go down. It's slow easing of the warmth. It's still warm this week and above average, it looks like, for probably all of this work week. But as we kind of have with rain chances as we get into the warmer air, warmer season, dew points could be in the 50s, if not above 60 degrees this week at times. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, those days I'm eyeing for that, that tinge of humidity, that dew points at this level will feel great in August and September. But going into what we're not used to, it's going to feel a little bit muggy at times, potentially. And then wind tomorrow settles down another half notch. We just can't fully kick it. So, yes, there could be one or two gusts, 20 miles per hour, maybe one gust near 30 miles per hour in the region, but it's slowly calming down, right? A little more tranquil. It's been a windy time of it recently. Precipitation, animation, trying to trying to show you above here how even though we have limited rain chances, yes, we could see a quick shower, quick storm, quick downpour. DC should avoid severe weather this week. Clouds are generally moving in middle and later part of this week after a bright Monday, Tuesday, kind of at the same time as our warmest part of the week is Monday, Tuesday. So make sure you keep that in mind. And as the front moves from Pennsylvania tonight, where we're seeing storms, it sags to our south overnight tonight. Quiet, stealthy passage. That probably would not be the case if it was the middle of the day and this front was moving through. Focusing maybe strong storms with some downpours into southeastern Virginia tomorrow. And this is over the next 7 days. It's kind of dry around the DC area and parts of Virginia. But again, we're fine in the drought and rain surplus department. So do not worry about the water table as it looks now. Just a quick animation of the front tonight through Tuesday and the severe weather chances tonight through Tuesday. It's focused in Pennsylvania tonight, Southeast Virginia tomorrow, and then everyday storms it looks like for Tuesday for much of the region, mainly south and southwest of town, because it follows the storm chances generally follow this front. And as it moves through tonight, yes, we could see one or two, rumbles of thunder, but so far the unstable air looks to stay to our north, maybe northern Maryland, but definitely into Pennsylvania. That's where, it looks like storm chances are highest and remain highest this evening. Leaning below average for temperatures next week, below average precipitation for next week. So keep that in mind. It's not too much to plan around, but it generally looks like our warm spell will not continue beyond the end of this week as it stands now. Pollen indeed high in the tree department, and gardeners, keep nimble until we're sure those last frosts or freezes are past us. And Brian gave us good advice earlier about tomatoes, for instance, should wait until closer planting into May 10th, permanently in the ground, into the ground and soil anyway. But if you have them in pots, I won't complain if you can move them back inside in a potted plants, from outside to inside, should we see a frost or freeze. David, really good seeing you. Until next week, I'll see you on our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. Let me make sure Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube, I've caught up on all your questions and comments. Really good seeing all of you. MB, Patrick, Jody, Michelle. All right. I appreciate all of you for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. I will bid you adieu until next Sunday night. We're at capitalweathergang.com anytime you need us. PM update is above. I will have the Monday morning forecast out by 5 a.m. tomorrow, and we will just watch this front dancing through our region after it's giving us a warm start to our week, but the warmth eases as rain chances increase middle and end part of the week. Jim, thanks so much for that. And Christy, you as well on Instagram. Really appreciate you, Laura, on YouTube. All right. Got to go. Take care for now.